Halloween is coming this month, so let's get into some spooky, scary stories. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I'm your host Emily, and today we're counting down our list of the top 10 terrifying Halloween urban legends you pray aren't true. Coming in at number 10 is the Backseat Passenger. This story goes, late on Halloween night, a nurse was driving home from work when she noticed a car that seemed to be following her. The driver began sporadically flashing the high beams on and off. Now the nurse sped up and the car behind her sped up too. She then called 911 and told the police that someone was chasing her. The dispatcher told her to stop her car and get out of it immediately. Now the nurse thought the dispatcher had lost her mind, but just then a police car pulled in front of her, forcing her to stop. The dispatcher told her once more to get out and go to the police car. She emerged from the car and one of the police officers told her to get in the back seat of his car. She noticed the two officers had their weapons drawn and that the car that was following her had stopped several yards behind her. The nurse didn't know what to expect. The first cop walked towards the driver's side of the car while the other moved around the passenger's side. They stood up with their weapons and flashlights aimed at the back seat. Hands up, drop the knife, and get out of the car, one officer yelled. Now the nurse watched as the police officers dragged a man from the back of her car. She later discovered that the car flashing its lights was driven by a woman who noticed the man rise up from the back seat holding what she thought was a knife. She immediately called 911, and each time the man rose up back seat, the woman flashed her lights. Coming in at number 9 is Halloween tattoos. The story goes, two girls' cousins went trick-or-treating together every year. One year when they returned home, the girls were thrilled to discover they'd each received a unicorn temporary tattoo. They showed the tattoos to their moms, who thought they were a clever idea to give to trick-or-treaters. The girls quickly applied the tattoos to their arms, and within a few minutes, their moms noticed they were acting strangely. It was almost as if they were drunk, or worse, The moms scooped up their daughters and rushed them to the emergency room, where doctors believed the girls had been drugged. The police confiscated all their candy, but the lab reports showed no drugs. The next day, after the two girls had recovered, one of the moms was picking up her daughter's Halloween costume from the floor when she noticed the used tattoo packaging. She grabbed a plastic bag and took it to the police station, and the lab report on the tattoo revealed that it had been laced with an hallucinogenic. Seems like you can't trust anything you get trick-or-treating these days. Number 8. Mary arm. Bloody Mary was known for ending the lives of young women and bathing in their blood as a way to maintain her youth. Now, this story is very popular, and playing the game Mary at sleepovers is extremely common. Now, one Halloween night, 3 young girls decided to see if they could conjure Mary from the spirit world. They lit a candle and turned off the lights in the bathroom. Holding the candle in front of them, the 3 girls stood in front of a bathroom mirror and chanted, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary." They held their breath, waiting for the evil woman to appear in the mirror, but nothing happened, so they repeated. This time, they saw a shadow moving behind them, but before they could turn around, the frightening face of a woman flashed in the mirror. Now the girls screamed in terror, and the one holding the candle dropped it. Rolling across the ceramic floor, the candle's flame went out. Now darkness engulfed them, and the girls clawed at the doorknob, trying to open the door. "I feel her hand on my shoulder," one girl sobbed and released a blood-curdling scream that made the other girls panic even more. Eventually they got the door open and fell out of the bathroom. Now the girl who felt the hand touch her found 3 claw marks tracked down her arm. Hey, so be warned, not only can you see Mary, but she can see you and cause harm. Number 7. Razor blade candy. This seems to be an old wives' tale, but this story goes, one Halloween, a boy and his friends decided they wanted a bigger candy haul than last year. After they had gone to every house in their neighborhood, they then decided to walk a few blocks to another neighborhood. After all, with costumes, no one would recognize that they didn't belong there. Right? Now eventually the boys were pleased with all the candy they received, so they went home and sat down on the porch to empty their bags of candy. They compared the candies they had, and one opened a candy bar and bit down on it. oozed from his mouth and he cried out in agony. His parents rushed onto the porch to find that he had bitten into a razor blade that had sliced off his tongue that now lay on the porch floor in front of him. His mouth also had several cuts. Now the ambulance came and they took the boy to the hospital where doctors managed to stitch up his mouth and reattach his severed tongue. The police warned parents against allowing their children to trick-or-treat at homes of people they don't know, and parents should always check the candy to ensure it hasn't been tampered with before allowing their children to eat it. Number 6. The Hook. This is a classic Halloween story. It goes, after leaving a friend's Halloween party, a boyfriend and girlfriend decided to drive the short distance to their favorite lake park. The teenagers arrived at the spot to find it vacant, and it was a beautiful romantic setting with a full moon shimmering on the water. The boy scrolled through his playlist to find perfect music when both of their phones beeped with the police alert warning everyone to be on the lookout for a man with a prosthetic hook who had been seen fleeing the scene of a crime that ended someone's life. The two teenagers realized that the address of the crime scene was only a couple blocks from where they were parked. They decided to leave the park, but when they tried to start the car, the engine wouldn't turn on. They tried several times, and finally the engine coughed to life, and they sped out of the park. They talked about their Halloween not ending quite the way they wanted, and the girlfriend suggested that they go back to her house to watch a scary movie. Now when they arrived at her house, they parked in the driveway behind her parents' cars. The girlfriend got out and turned back to wait for her boyfriend, but hanging from her car door was a prosthetic hook. Now they could have been the Hookman's next victim, but they were smart and went home. Finally, a smart couple in this version of the story. Number 5. The Legend of Stingy Jack. The tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns originates in Ireland using turnips instead of pumpkins. It's allegedly based on a legend about a man named Stingy Jack who repeatedly trapped the devil and only let him go on the condition that Jack would never go to hell. But when Jack died, he learned that heaven did not want his soul either, so he was forced to wander the earth as a ghost for eternity. Now Jack crafted a makeshift lantern by carving out a humble turnip and illuminating it with a single piece of coal bestowed upon him by the devil himself. Thus, the first jack-o'-lantern was born, forever cementing its place in the eerie lore of Halloween as locals eventually began carving scary faces into their own turnips to frighten away evil spirits. He became known as Jack of the Lantern or Jack-o'-lantern, hence the name. Number 4. The Vanishing Hitchiker. This classic urban legend passed down through generations tells the eerie tale of a driver navigating through the darkened streets on Halloween night. While driving around at night, a young man sees a hitchhiker. He decided to pick him up, and the hitchhiker was shrouded in mystery and intrigue. As the car proceeds along the road, the driver feels a sense of unease. Then, suddenly, without warning, the hitchhiker vanishes into thin air, leaving behind only an item of clothing or forgotten personal possession. Now the unsolved mystery lingers, haunting the driver's memory forever. Now if this happened to me, I would freak out. Now was this hitchhiker actually a ghost? I just have so many questions. Number 3. Anne Boleyn. With a history of torment and execution going back over 900 years, the Tower of London is regarded by many as one of the most haunted places in the UK. It was originally built in 1078 by William the Conqueror and has served a significant role in the history of England ever since. Now there have been many reports of paranormal activity at the Tower of London over the years. Now the most famous of all the ghosts that live within its walls is Anne Boleyn's ghost, the wife of King Henry VIII. Throughout the years, her untimely demise has given rise to numerous chilling accounts of her ghostly apparitions, particularly on the eerie night of Halloween. You see, she was beheaded in 1536, and her headless body has been seen walking the tower's corridors and often near the spot of her demise. Number 2. Black Cats. Another more persistent Halloween urban legend centers around Satanists and sacrificing black cats. The connection between black cats and Halloween goes way back. Tales of sacrificing black cats during the Druid celebration of the Lord of the Dead date back 2,000 years. Now during the Middle Ages, there was a belief that witches could disguise themselves as black cats. Many people accused of witchcraft were burned alongside their feline companions. Now while there's no proof that Satanists have ever harmed a single black cat on Halloween or otherwise, many animal shelters have refused to adopt black cats in the weeks leading up to Halloween. Myths about black cats include it's bad luck to have a black cat cross your path, don't turn your back on a black cat because it will curse you, and if a black cat gets in the bed of a sick person, it's an omen of death. But in reality, they are just cute animals, just leave them alone. And coming in at number 1 is the clown statue. Do you remember in 2016 when there were clowns running all over the place? Well, some people said it was just a joke, while others dubbed them killer clowns, so what's really the truth? While some seemed like pranks, it seems like others used a clown costume to commit crimes. Now this urban legend came way before this, but it's still just as spooky. It's said on Halloween night a young girl was babysitting her 2 neighbors at their house. While there was a clown statue in the living room that made her uncomfortable. It was Halloween though, so she figured it was just a decoration. She put the 2 siblings to bed and sat in the living room to watch TV as the clown statue continued to unnerve her. And the mother called to check in, and the babysitter asked if she could cover the clown statue with a blanket. The mother is then confused, saying, "We do not own a clown statue." Now it turns out that the statue was actually a real person trying to commit a crime. When the girl gets off the phone with the mother, she begins to call 911 when the clown attacks her and ends her life. Yeah, I remember hearing this story when I was younger, and it made me scared to babysit. Because what if some sick person tried to do this in real life? It is scary. Well, that's all for our list of the top 10 terrifying Halloween urban legends you pray aren't true. Which one on our list scares you the most? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. I'm your host Emily, and we'll see you next time. Peace.